know what separates a man who commands respect from one who begs for it? It's not the words he speaks when he's praised. It's the silence he holds when he's insulted. I've seen it 1,000 times. Someone throws words at you like weapons, trying to cut you down, make you small. They're banking on your reaction. The anger, the defensiveness, the need to prove them wrong. And the moment you give them that reaction, you've already lost. Because here's the truth. They don't want you to know. Insults aren't about you. They never were. They're about the person throwing them. Their fear, their inadequacy, their desperate need to feel powerful by making someone else feel weak. See? Weak people attack. Strong people observe. When someone disrespects you, they're showing you their hand. They're revealing their insecurities, broadcasting their weaknesses to anyone smart enough to see it. And if you stay calm, if you control yourself while they lose control, you don't just win the moment, you expose them for exactly what they are. The real power isn't in the comeback, it's in the composure. It's in making them realize they've just embarrassed themselves while you stood there, unshaken, untouchable. Let me tell you something about respect. It's not given freely, and it's certainly not demanded. Respect is earned through how you carry yourself when the world tries to knock you down. I've built an empire, not by shouting louder than my enemies, but by understanding something fundamental about human nature. People who insult you are fighting a war with themselves, and they're trying to drag you onto their battlefield. The moment you refuse to fight on their terms, you've already won. Think about the last time someone tried to diminish you with their words. Maybe it was at work, maybe it was family, maybe it was some stranger who thought they had the right to judge you. What did they want? They wanted to see you crumble. They wanted to see you angry, flustered, desperate to defend yourself. Because in that moment of your reaction, they get to feel superior. They get to feel like they have power over you. But here's what I learned in the streets of Birmingham, and what I perfected in the boardrooms where fortunes are made and destroyed. The person who controls their emotions controls the entire situation. When someone insults you and you remain calm, collected, unmoved by their attempt to hurt you, something incredible happens. Their insult doesn't just fail, it boomerangs right back at them. They start to look desperate, they start to look small, and everyone watching can see it. You see, insults are a tool of the powerless. Think about it. When was the last time you saw someone truly powerful, truly secure in themselves, going around insulting people? You don't. Because people who are genuinely confident don't need to tear others down to build themselves up. They're already built. So when someone comes at you with disrespect, what they're really telling you is that they feel threatened by you. Something about your presence, your success, your confidence, your peace. Something about you makes them feel inadequate. And instead of doing the hard work of improving themselves, instead of facing their own demons, they try to bring you down to their level. It's easier for them to attack you than to elevate themselves. And if you understand this psychology, if you really grasp it, then insults stop hurting you. Instead, they become information. They become a window into the soul of the person throwing them. No, I'm not saying you become a doormat. I'm not saying you let people walk all over you. That's not strength, that's weakness, disguised as nobility. What I'm saying is that your response needs to be calculated, controlled, and devastating in its simplicity. When someone insults you, the natural human instinct is to insult them back, to match their energy, to escalate. But that's exactly what they want, because once you're angry, once you're emotional, you're no longer thinking clearly. You're reacting instead of acting, and the person who reacts is always at the mercy of the person who acts. So instead of giving them what they want, you do something unexpected. You pause, you look at them with the kind of calm that unsettles people, and then you respond, not with anger but with a question or a statement, so simple, so unbothered, that it makes them question why they even bothered to insult you in the first place. I'll give you an example. Someone says you're not good enough, that you'll never amount to anything. The weak response is to argue with them, to list your accomplishments to prove them wrong. But why would you need to prove anything to someone who's already decided to disrespect you? Instead, you look at them and you say something like, if that's what you need to believe, and then you move on with your life. You don't argue, you don't explain, you don't defend, because your life, your actions, your results, they speak louder than any words you could ever say. And here's the beautiful part. Your calm, your refusal to engage with their negativity. It eats at them. It bothers them more than any comeback ever could, because they wanted a reaction, and you gave them nothing. You denied them the satisfaction of getting under your skin. Let me tell you what happens in the days and weeks after you respond this way. The person who insulted you will think about that interaction over and over again. They'll replay it in their mind, and slowly they'll start to realize how foolish they looked, how desperate their insult seemed when met with your composure. Meanwhile, you've forgotten about them entirely because you're too busy building your life, pursuing your goals, becoming the person you're meant to be. And that right there is the ultimate victory. You win by making them irrelevant to your journey. You win by showing them that their opinion of you has no bearing on your reality. But there's another layer to this that most people miss. When you respond to insults with composure, you're not just winning the immediate battle, you're building a reputation. People are always watching, even when you don't realize it. They're watching how you handle criticism. They're watching how you respond to disrespect. And when they see you remain calm, confident, and unbothered in the face of attacks, they respect you more. They trust you more. Because if you can handle insults with grace, they know you can handle pressure. They know you can handle responsibility. They know you're someone who won't crumble when things get difficult. This is how you build real influence. Not by being the loudest person in the room, but by being the most controlled. Now I want to talk about something that might make you uncomfortable. Sometimes the people who insult you aren't strangers. They're people close to you. Family members who undermine your dreams. Friends who disguise their jealousy as concern. Colleagues who try to sabotage your progress. These are the hardest insults to handle because they come from people whose opinions we care about. But here's what I learned. Proximity doesn't give anyone the right to disrespect you. Blood doesn't give them permission to diminish you. If anything, the people closest to you should be your biggest supporters. And if they're not, if they're the ones throwing insults and negativity your way, then you need to make a decision. You either set boundaries with them, making it clear that their behavior is unacceptable, or you distance yourself from their toxicity. Because I don't care who they are. If someone consistently tries to make you feel small, they don't deserve access to your life. Here's the thing about boundaries. When you set them, people will test them. They'll insult you to see if you'll cave, if you'll go back to being the person they could control or manipulate. This is where your resolve gets tested. This is where you prove whether you're serious about demanding respect or just talking about it. And the way you prove it is through consistency. Every single time someone crosses that line, you respond the same way, with calm, with clarity, and with consequences. You don't argue. You don't explain yourself repeatedly. You simply enforce the boundary. And over time, people learn that you're not someone to be trifled with. They learn that your composure isn't weakness. It's strength in its purest form. Let me be clear about something else. Making someone look weak and insecure when they insult you isn't about revenge. It's not about humiliating them or stooping to their level. It's about revealing the truth. When someone insults you, and you remain composed, you're simply allowing their own behavior to speak for itself. You're holding up a mirror and letting everyone see what kind of person they really are. You're not attacking them, you're just refusing to save them from the consequences of their own actions. And that's a crucial distinction, because the goal isn't to become like them. The goal is to rise so far above their pettiness that their insults can't even reach you anymore. I've spent my life navigating dangerous men, ruthless competitors, and people who would kill to take what I've built. And I'll tell you what I've learned. The most dangerous person in any room isn't the one shouting threats. It's the one sitting quietly in the corner watching, calculating, completely in control of themselves. That's the person everyone fears. That's the person everyone respects. And that's the person you need to become. When insults come your way, and they will, because success always attracts criticism, you need to be that person. The one who doesn't flinch, the one who doesn't break, the one who makes everyone else in the room realize they're dealing with someone operating on a completely different level. So, here's what I want you to take from this. The next time someone tries to insult you, remember that their words are not about you, they're about them. Remember that your reaction is where your power lies. Stay calm, stay composed. Respond with the kind of quiet confidence that makes people question why they ever challenged you in the first place. And then watch as they slowly realize that they've made a mistake, that they've revealed their own weakness while you've demonstrated your strength. That's how you win, not by fighting every battle, but by choosing which battles deserve your energy and handling them with the kind of composure that separates leaders from followers, the strong from the weak, the people who command respect from the people who beg for it.